Good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. For the News First team, I'm Dikmini De Silva. Let's start off with a look at the headlines.
A mid-range of 735 million people around the world face hunger. A UN study reveals time given to the divisional secretariats to update the appeals and objections ends today. A proposal for an oil distribution pipeline connecting Nagapattinam, Trincomalee and Colombo removed the health minister that brought low-quality medicines and risked the lives of patients. A request from the opposition.
සෞඛ්‍ය පරිපාලනය වහාම වෙනස් කළ යුතුයි. මේ අමතිකම කරන්න තව සුදුසු කෙනෙක් පත් කරන්න පුළුවන්.
සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යවරයා ඔහේ නිකන් කියවන්නෙක් බවට පත් වෙලා තියෙනවා.
In a top story, the state of food insecurity and nutrition in the world revealed that between 691 and 783 million people faced hunger in 2022, with a mid-range of 735 million representing an increase of 122 million people compared to 2019. It also adds up to a grim warning, potentially jeopardizing the Sustainable Development Goal of ending hunger. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said in a video message launching the report, quote, "Overall, we need an intense and immediate global effort to rescue the Sustainable Development Goals," unquote. He added, quote, "We must build resilience against the crisis and shocks that drive food insecurity from conflict to climate," unquote. It shows that hunger rose in Western Asia, Caribbean and across Africa, where 1 in 5 people, more than twice the global average, faced hunger. Only Asia and Latin America observed progress in improving food security. In addition to rising hunger, the capacity of people to access healthy diets also deteriorated across the world. More than 3.1 billion people globally were unable to afford a healthy diet in 2021. This is according to the report issued jointly by the Food and Agriculture Organization, International Fund for Agricultural Development, UN Children's Fund and the World Health Organization. According to the report, 148 million children under 5 were stunted, a condition marked by low height per age. 45 million were wasted, low weight, and 37 million were overweight, often an indicator of poor nutrition. The Welfare Benefits Board says the time given to the divisional secretaries to update the appeals and objections ends today. Board member of the Welfare Benefits Board, Kamal Padmasiri, said that if the relevant appeals and objections are still with the divisional secretaries, they should be forwarded to the system urgently. The period for submitting appeals regarding the relief program ended on the 10th. The Welfare Benefits Board said 968,000 appeals and 17,500 objections have been received. A proposal by Indian Oil Corporation for an oil distribution pipeline connecting Nagapattinam, Trincomalee and Colombo was discussed yesterday. It was chaired by Minister of Power and Energy, Kanchana Wijesekara.
Officials of the Indian High Commission, Ministry of Power and Energy, Ceylon Petroleum Corporation, Ceylon Petroleum Storage Terminals Limited, Petroleum Development Authority of Sri Lanka, Indian Oil Corporation and Lanka IOC participated for the discussion held at the Ministry of Power and Energy. Taking to Twitter, Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Wijesekara said he requested them to look at a two-way oil and gas pipeline taking into consideration the government's development plan for Trincomalee Tank Farm and Energy Hub, future developments of refineries, oil and gas exploration, pipeline connections to domestic LPG terminals that will target regional oil and gas export markets while enabling energy requirements of both countries. Project feasibility technical requirements will be assessed before finalization of the project scope for approval. President Ranil Wickremesinghe is scheduled to commence an official visit to India on the 21st of July, and Minister of Foreign Affairs Ali Sabri recently said more attention will be paid to the energy sector between the two countries.
In other local news, one person died following an elephant attack in Andigama Ambulantota at 8:30 p.m. on Wednesday.
According to our correspondent, the elephant had attacked the victim while he was travelling on a motorbike. The victim was a 58-year-old father of 3 from Koggala in Ambulantota. According to area residents, 3 people have died within the past 3 days by wild elephant attacks.
Meanwhile, an employee who was inspecting an electric fence on the Southern Expressway has died following an elephant attack. The victim of the attack is a 27-year-old resident of Nagaravaeva, Hambantota. Relatives of the victim engaged in a protest demanding a solution to the human-elephant conflict.
Agriculture Ministry says a program has been prepared to increase the productivity of paddy harvest from the 2023-2024 Maha season. The Ministry Secretary Gunadasa Samarasinghe has said technical support will be obtained from the Food and Agriculture Organization and the Small Scale Agri-Entrepreneurship Participation Program. He added that priority will be given to the dry zone of the country. The aim of this is to increase the paddy yield of 1 hectare by more than 5 metric tons. Farmers who work tirelessly to provide rice to the nation are severely burdened as they are unable to sell their harvest. Farmers said they have not received a fair price for their harvest.
Farmers from many areas have commenced reaping the harvest for the Yala season. However, farmers of the Min-area agrarian movement in Polonnaruwa have been unable to sell the harvest for the previous Maha season. They have had to store the paddy at home due to the lack of a proper price for their harvest. Farmers of the Bandagiriya agrarian movement in Hambantota are facing a similar issue. They said although the Paddy Marketing Board said the procurement of paddy commenced in the Hambantota district, the paddy purchasing centres are closed. These farmers are requesting a fair price for their harvest. Vice Chairman of the All Ceylon Agrarian Federation, Susantha Kumara Navaratna, commented on the situation faced by farmers in Rajanganaya who are facing difficulties without a fair price for their harvest.
Farmers of the Rajanganaya movement are prepared to reap their harvest for the Yala season in around 2 weeks. But the paddy stocks from the previous harvesting season is still in their storages because they were unable to sell it. Dried paddy from the new harvest is sold at 70 rupees. Raw paddy is going for 60 to 65 rupees. Paddy from the old harvest is sold for 80 to 82 rupees. Within the Rajanganaya movement, farmers have to spend 115 to 120 rupees to produce a kilogram of paddy. If they have to spend that amount and sell it for 70 rupees or 60 rupees, if it is raw, they have to incur a loss of 30 to 40 rupees. That is why 1/3 of the production cost should be added to the prices as profit. Prices of all other goods have increased. If they sell the paddy for 60 to 70 rupees and have to spend a lot more on other goods, what is the fate of the farmers?
In more local news, Primary Healthcare System Strengthening Project says that a project to prepare a data system that includes health records of people over 35 years of age has been commenced. Its director, Dr. Jayasundara Bandara, said the project started centering the rural hospital system.
Currently, the program is being implemented in 600 hospitals where residents of several Gram Seva divisions are referred to one hospital and their health condition is monitored. He added a disease prevention program is implemented by including a health record of every person in the data system. Meanwhile, several views were expressed regarding the medicine issue in the country.
The president must intervene in this. The minister he assigned for this responsibility seems to be ineffective. This does not only violate the basic right to health care of the people. This corrupt health administration that put the lives of patients at risk must be removed. There is no need to wait for a new government to do this. The president has the power to do this. He can appoint someone else. He should appoint knowledgeable people to the posts of Ministry Secretary and Director General of Health. Can the medicine and health policies of the country can be formulated while giving priority to the commissions of private companies. A new administration team needs to be appointed for the NMRA. If not, you cannot prevent the deaths of hundreds of people. Therefore, pay close attention to this. They're making patients go blind by giving them substandard medicines. Deaths are happening at hospitals. We need ministers that can save lives. Doctors are leaving the country and hospitals are lacking staff. Amidst all of this, they're doing surveys. They don't seem to care one bit about human lives. The health minister is saying whatever comes to his head.
The National Dengue Control Unit says a special dengue control program will commence from today. Its director, Dr. Nari Ratna, said it will be operational today, tomorrow and the day after.
The police and the armed forces will provide their support to this special program.
ඉතින් මේ හරහා අපි අවධානය යොමු කරනවා සියලුම සෞඛ්‍ය වෛද්‍යධාරී කාර්යාල.
Through this, we are hoping to pay more attention to MOH divisions that are at greater risk. The Tri-Forces and the police will extend their support to this. All state sector officers from rural areas will take part in this. With their support, we will clean schools and places of religious worship.
Currently, 52,021 dengue cases are reported from the country. Director of National Dengue Control Unit, Dr. Nalin Aryaratna, said that nearly 50% of them are reported from the Western Province.
News first with the people.
3 suspects have been arrested on suspicion of stabbing and killing a person in Bataduwa, Batapola, Gaul.
Crime Watch.
A 37-year-old resident of Kadua, Bataduwa, died during a brawl at a restaurant on the night of the 23rd of June. Police said the victim intervened to settle a dispute between 2 groups that were under the influence. Later, 2 people who arrived wearing protective helmets stabbed him and fled the scene. Police said after analyzing the phone records of a person who was arrested on suspicion of the murder, 2 more suspects were arrested. They are residents of Kuligoda, Galagoda and Iddamtota. Police have found several sharp weapons used for the murder and the motorcycle.
Crime Watch.
A stock of food unsuitable for consumption was discovered at a cooperative located close to Ballymadder. It was discovered following a raid conducted by officers of the Ballymadder MOH. During the raid, wheat flour, rice and food items damaged by pests were discovered.
Has the new leadership failed to uphold basic rights and bring accountability? The Human Rights Watch expressed their views in this regard. The Human Rights Watch said, quote, while the previous government had announced a moratorium on the use of Draconian Prevention of Terrorism Act, Wickramasinghe used the law to detain student protest leaders, unquote. It added, quote, a revised counter-terrorism law proposed by the new administration would have handed sweeping powers to the police, the military and the president and created a set of new speech-related offences. The government was forced to pass the legislation amid widespread outrage, but authorities are nevertheless using other laws to clamp down on free speech, unquote. The Human Rights Watch said, quote, Sri Lanka remains in an economic, political and human rights crisis. President Wickramasinghe should recognize that upholding rights and pursuing accountability for grave crimes is essential to addressing the country's problems, unquote. Fitch Ratings has revised the outlook on Ceylon Electricity Board's national long-term rating to positive from stable and has simultaneously affirmed the rating at B. Fitch also affirmed the national long-term rating of CEB's outstanding senior unsecured debentures at B. The positive outlook reflects the likely upgrade of the Sri Lankan sovereign's long-term local currency issuer default rating to reflect the sovereign's prospects following the completion of a domestic debt exchange. It said that it will equalize CEB's ratings with that of the sovereign if the sovereign's long-term local currency IDR is upgraded to above CC, in line with our government-related entities' rating criteria, resulting in a rating upgrade on the national scale. Pakistan-based Geo News reported International Monetary Fund on Wednesday approved a 9-month standby arrangement for Pakistan to support the country's economic stabilization program. Earlier in June, Pakistan and IMF reached a staff-level agreement of $3 billion, which was a much-needed relief for the cash-strapped country. The IMF's announcement on Wednesday came after Pakistan Finance Minister said that Pakistan received $1 billion from the UAE as part of its financial commitment to help Pakistan receive the IMF bailout package. Tesla boss Elon Musk has announced the formation of an artificial intelligence startup. The new company is called XAI and includes several engineers that have worked at companies like OpenAI and Google. Musk has previously said he believes developments in AI should be paused and that the sector needs regulation. He said the startup was created to understand reality. The company's website says the goal of XAI is to understand the true nature of the universe. The new firm will host a Twitter Spaces chat on Friday, which may reveal further details about its aims. At least one person has been killed and 4 wounded as Ukrainian air defense units fought off a Russian drone attack for the 3rd consecutive night in and around Kiev.
Kiev's mayor said in the early hours of Thursday morning emergency services responded to calls in the capital city's several districts following explosions. Kiev's military administration said that falling debris from destroyed Russian drones had struck the Solomyansky district in the center of the Ukrainian capital, and at least 2 people were injured. A picture posted on social media showed the Kiev military administration showed a room in a high-rise building with a part of its wall blown out.
That's a wrap of the lunchtime news. Join us again at 9 p.m. for prime time news on TV1.